John. I'm really happy to meet you. I'm glad you're here.
Good to meet you guys.
So tell us how you got into Jiu-Jitsu and how long you've been training.
I've been training since 2008. I got into Jiu-Jitsu because for a long time I was drinking a lot and I was not in a good way, bad relationship. So I remembered whenever I was in high school, I was doing wrestling and I felt really good. I got into the military. After the military, I just got out and smoked cigarettes, drank a lot, and was not healthy. And so I wanted to get back to being healthy again. And so I joined Jiu-Jitsu, and, you know, so the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Yeah. The rest is history.
So
no other martial arts styles, genres before Jiu-Jitsu?
Just
wrestling. Yeah.
That's it.
So what drew you to the Jiu-Jitsu aspect versus maybe choosing karate or taekwondo or maybe even MMA?
Because it was very similar to wrestling with grappling, just with submissions. And I was an MMA fan anyway. So that kind of attracted me to it.
That was it for you.
Yes.
So now you have an established, amazing school in what part of the country?
It's in Fuquay, North Carolina, near Raleigh.
And what's the name of it?
It's a Schell Shock BJJ.
And you have the very rare opportunity to train with a significant other and run your academy with a significant other. Can you tell us about your beautiful wife?
Of course. She's her name is Samantha Schell. And I met her at a Hoist Gracie seminar. And we got paired up together. I didn't know it at the time, but she hated me because I beat her instructor the week previous to that. And so we just started getting to know each other. I had a couple MMA fights come up when I was 42. So a group of us got together. She was part of that group, training together. She was also a fighter. So we started getting to know each other a little bit more, and then we started dating each other.
Fantastic. This is one of the things, Jamie, that I love so much about the Jiu-Jitsu community is that I keep coming back to the term family. For you and your academy, what do you guys notice, not just you and your wife, but what do you notice about other couples or parents and kids or siblings that are at the amazing Schell Shock BJJ?
Yeah, that's a good question. We have a lot of families that join up together. I structured the plan so there's individual plan and a family plan for that reason.
Yeah.
Family plan, there's no extra cost per extra member. It's just one flat fee. So they can, you know, their whole family can join. I did that on purpose so I could get their whole family involved in Jiu-Jitsu.
Why is that important to you? What about bringing in the family to the Jiu-Jitsu world? What was so significant for that for you?
Well, it changed my life completely, and I wanted to see that for other people too. And I knew that if families joined together, most likely they would stay with it because one would push the other and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And I find that families that train together in Jiu-Jitsu, like their dynamic is completely different than a normal family. And I think you can see that closeness and that bond when you encounter families that train versus families that don't.
Definitely.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And I keep saying this. And in my opinion right now, outside of finding maybe a good church, I don't think there's any other environment that offers what a jiu-jitsu school offers to bring families together and have those family dynamics there.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Our motto also is not all families blood. So we try to keep that culture.
I love that.
Yeah, it's true. And here's one of the things that I'm most impressed about you. We've not known each other a long time, about 5 or 6 months now. We've talked a few times. Getting the chance to watch you compete, when you're at these events, your love for all people and your love to root everybody on and your love to give anybody help who needs help is so profound. And not all... The jiu-jitsu world can still be a little competitive, and my jiu-jitsu is better than your jiu-jitsu. So for you, why do you create such a deep space, open space for anybody who wants help?
We're in the same family as far as I'm concerned. I have a lot of different friends in different parts of the country, different parts of the world, and it's all been through jiu-jitsu. Some of my closest friends are guys that I competed against. So I don't think that there should be any separation between, obviously there's separation between teams because of competition, but I don't view it that way. I view all of my competitors as friends, and you're just out there to do a job, out there to compete.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I find you're there to better each other and
That's right.
learn from each other. So
Without them,
it's
you
beautiful.
can't get better.
That's 100% true. You know, running, tennis, you know, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of other sports are kind of dependent on themselves, and jiu-jitsu is too, but you can't watch a video and just watch videos and get good at jiu-jitsu. You need your teammates.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In close contact also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very close
Yeah,
contact.
Sometimes a little too close.
we know that as well.
For sure.
We know the Rona kind of challenged that and tried to squash some of that for a little bit, but that's what's so magical about jiu-jitsu. You know, we had people that were getting together, they were training, they were doing what they needed to do to stay well and healthy, and it's amazing stuff. So for you as a high-level competitor, and here's the thing, for the audience who doesn't maybe necessarily go to a lot of tournaments or they're newer into the jiu-jitsu world, there's a lot of people that just train, which is amazing. That's me. I'm a hobbyist. I'm not a competitor. My brother's the competitor. I'm kind of the healer. We joke around in our family. Your style of competition is literally, I have goosebumps thinking about it. You were literally one of the most amazing practitioners to watch, in my opinion.
Thank you. I wish I felt the same.
What about your style of jiu-jitsu creates such a fun match to watch, do you think?
I'm not boring. I'd say
Yeah.
I go after it, and I don't want any slack, you
Yeah.
know. And I try to put as much into it as I can. And you have different types of people that do jiu-jitsu, and different circumstances around how they feel they should practice jiu-jitsu. And my outlook on it is that I'm not a guard puller. I go after the takedown,
Yeah.
and I try to pass and stay on top,
That's true.
and
Yeah.
that's
fun
how
to
I
watch.
try to approach it.
Yeah, fun to watch for sure. What would you tell children, knowing that you maybe didn't have the most supportive upbringing and not the best maybe outlets as a youth? What would you tell younger people and especially children and young teens, and why would you encourage them to go the jiu-jitsu route?
Well, first off, I had an amazing upbringing, and I was very supported, my family and everything else. But for those that don't have that or didn't grow up with that, if you can get into something as taxing, as complicated, and as stressful as a combat sport, it really it teaches you a lot of work ethic. It teaches you how to communicate with people. It teaches you a lot of different things that you'll learn about yourself that you had no idea about, and it also you get the support that you may be lacking in certain areas from that family.
Okay.
You create a new family.
Create a new family. Now, for you, Jamie, having spent so much time in the MMA world and then transitioning into the jiu-jitsu world, how do those things parallel each other, would you say?
I find that they're very much like each other. The same sort of, the grit, and it's very transitions to just real life stuff. You're forced to face, issues and challenges head on in order to, improve and get to that next step, that next level. So, but yeah, I think it's, pretty incredible. It's been hard to transition in a way, only just because I'm used to MMA, the standing up, the punching, and all of that. But I do have a real love for the jiu-jitsu, so I'm excited for that new chapter.
That new chapter. So if you had someone today who was just starting out jiu-jitsu, what would you encourage them to look for in an academy? Because obviously not everybody lives in your area and can't come to your amazing program. So what would you encourage them to look for within a jiu-jitsu academy?
I would encourage them to look for camaraderie between all of them. Make sure that the gym that they join doesn't have a lot of cliques in it.
Yeah.
Cliques they will tear a gym apart completely.
Right.
And just look for structure. There's a lot of gyms that really don't have a lot of structure.
Right.
So make sure that they have a structure to them. Their classes are structured. Their curriculum is structured. It's important.
Yeah, I agree with that. What is your opinion? This is something that we're in Jiu-Jitsu academies all across the country, and something that I've really found, which I believe is true, and I've seen in your academy, is having a strong female coach and having a strong female program. For me, when I see an academy that does have that versus doesn't have that, it's just a whole other level of amazing that I don't see in academies that are missing that piece. What do you think about that?
No, absolutely. Fortunate that my wife is a part of that gym. She's a black belt now at my school, and she has been building the women's program because it's very tough to keep women.
Right.
Because a lot of women just want, after a certain amount of time of getting, smothered and beat, and it's just not a fun time. It's not fun for anyone.
Right.
So it's very difficult to keep women in a program, but we probably have about 25 to 30 women now in our program. And
That's
so,
amazing.
yeah, so it's really good to see that growing and continuing to grow. And I think the important thing is that, women or men need to be treated the same.
Right.
In that type of environment.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Now, knowing a big part of jiu-jitsu can be injuries, right? You're not shy to injuries yourself.
Absolutely
You've
not.
had a lifetime of injuries.
Yes.
What has it been like for you meeting New Hope Regeneration, and how has that shifted your relationship with injuries and jiu-jitsu?
So before jiu-jitsu, I was in several accidents in the military. I fell 30 feet, and so I messed up my shoulder, back. It wasn't until after I got out of the military where I had to get a fusion in my lower back, L5S1.
Okay.
And I just started getting more and more problems. For a while, I had to take a year off. When I came back, it was like learning jiu-jitsu over again for my body. My mind was okay, but my body was just trying to learn it again. And then when I got to a certain point, I was able to go back to competition. But over the years, it started getting worse and worse. Even with the surgery that I had, and the wear and tear that we put on our bodies all the time.
Right.
My knees, I've had 5 different surgeries on my knees, ACL on my left knee, meniscectomies on both of them. So by getting the therapy through New Hope, I was able to overcome a lot of that issues that I had with my back and my knees.
Yeah.
I have arthritis in my right knee, and I haven't been able to sit back on that foot completely since about 6 to 7 years. And just recently, I was able to sit all the way back on it, and I'm able to use my body a lot more efficiently now.
Right.
Back pain is pretty much completely gone, so it's pretty amazing. I also had hypertension, blood pressure for 3 years.
Yeah, and so you saw some changes in your blood pressure numbers after therapy.
It's normal levels now.
Yeah.
So.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
So what does that mean to you to be able to have something that's safe, that's natural, that's easy to be able to help your body make these changes?
Yeah, it's very important. I think nowadays, or for years now, the medical system has just put Band-Aids on things, trying to treat symptoms rather than fixing problems. And this therapy completely fixes problems.
Right. And we don't ever want people to have the wrong idea, because sometimes we still need a surgery, right? If we got a fully torn ACL or labrum or whatever, like those are still there. But oftentimes the long-term side effects that can come from those surgeries and can also be worse as well.
Also, you heal quicker.
Yeah, and you heal quicker, right? So why would you encourage, either other athletes or maybe even other academy owners to look to, get together with New Hope Regeneration, or if they're an academy, why even potentially partner with New Hope?
Longevity, because, nobody wants to, if you're a competitor, nobody wants to stop competing.
Right.
And you definitely don't want to stop training. So in order to continue to do that, I think it's necessary to have something to help you along.
Right.
Have something help your body regenerate the things that it has lost over the years.
Yeah, and the best part is that neither of you two had to go out of country, right?
No.
You
That's
got
right.
Easy
stay
access.
local, way less expensive than going out of country in a lot of other places.
Yes.
And so what is it like knowing that you can tell some of your students or your friends or your family members, because this is not just for athletes, right? Like that's something sometimes people are like, oh, I'm not an athlete. Why should I come get stem cell therapy. What would you tell people who aren't athletes who are contemplating this therapy?
Well, as you know, I also had my professor. He had a stroke in 2017, 2 strokes actually, and he had a quadruple bypass heart surgery. And so I brought him up 2 months ago,
Yeah.
about a month and a half ago, and he was able to receive the therapy. And I keep in contact with him every day, talk to him about what's going on. He's on a ton of different medicines. And he said since he's had the therapy, he's been able to stay up in the morning. Like he gets up in the morning. He's had to take naps previously to that. Hasn't been tired. He can go to the gym, continue with his PT, be in the gym to instruct, even though he can't get on the mat yet because he can't use his arm and his leg just yet. But he's doing a lot better than he has in the last few years.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, we're so grateful for you and your heart. Again, the more I spend time with you and the more people I meet who know you, what you and your wife are doing in the jiu-jitsu community and how you're bringing people together, how your gym is an open door for anybody, no matter what academy they belong to. You really are an inspiration to what I believe the jiu-jitsu world is going to be in the future, and you're already paving the way for that. So, Jamie and I just want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for creating such a special opportunity for people, no matter where they come from, to get on the mats and train.
I want to thank you guys. I mean, without New Hope Regeneration, I was looking closer and closer to not competing anymore. I was trying to come to terms with that,
Yeah.
So by getting this, it has definitely prolonged the ability to compete.
Yeah, so our little cheesy saying of heal faster, compete for longer is not so cheesy, is it?
No, not at all.
Fantastic. Well, again, thank you for being on the show. Another amazing episode of Inside
incredible.
the Fight. Jamie, do you have anything else
absolutely.
you want to?
No, just thank you for being you and just, like Kevin said, paving the way and just being an inspiration. And yeah, it's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
I mean, just to touch base on what you said earlier, my wife has a big part in all of this, so I'd like to thank her too.
Yeah.
She sounds amazing.
Yeah.
She's pretty awesome.
She is. I like her.
For those of you who have heard Professor John's amazing story today and how he thought he wasn't going to be able to continue to compete, who are looking for more information and know that the rest of your life can be the best of your life, we want you to go to insidethefight.net. Thanks, John, so much for coming on the show today, and we can't wait to see you on the next episode of Inside the Fight.